For weeks, I thought our relationship was unshakable. Every laugh, every quiet night together, every careless touch that somehow meant everything had convinced me that she and I were on the same page. I was 28, and I believed in us completely. There were no doubts in my heart, only this deep, unspoken certainty that we were building something real, something lasting. I never expected the moment that changed everything would arrive so quietly, so subtly, yet with the force of a hurricane. It began with a post. A single, innocuous line on social media that, at first glance, seemed harmless. Oh, I'm not anyone's property, period. I didn't pay much attention at first, assuming it was just her being dramatic, a whimsical caption for likes, or maybe even a joke I wasn't meant to get. But then I saw the comments, friends tagging friends, emojis scattered like confetti, and the casual tone of casual agreement that made my stomach sink. I should have scrolled past. I should have ignored it. But curiosity got the better of me. I clicked, and in that instant, something inside me shifted. I started replaying every conversation, every offhand remark. Every time I thought she needed me, relied on me, or wanted me, suddenly, the certainty I had cherished seemed fragile, almost laughable. Was I really seeing her clearly, or had I been too blind to notice the growing distance between us? The post wasn't just words. It was a declaration, a boundary I hadn't realized I had overstepped, a statement of independence that seemed to exist solely to remind me that she had control I had long assumed I shared. I confronted her gently that night. I saw your post. I said, my voice careful, measured, trying to hide the tremor that betrayed my calm. She looked at me, eyes wide, and for a moment I thought I had misjudged the situation. Maybe she'd laugh it off. Maybe she explained it was nothing. But the silence that followed told me otherwise. The words she finally spoke weren't angry, weren't defensive. They were precise, deliberate, and cutting in a way that only truth can be. I am not anyone's property, she said softly. I never was. I never will be. I wanted to argue, to protest, to tell her that I hadn't seen it that way, that I had never meant to make her feel trapped. But the truth was, she already knew. She had always known. And in that moment, I realized I had been living with an illusion, one that crumbled with the weight of her simple, unyielding statement. We sat in quiet for what felt like hours, though it was probably only minutes. The air between us had changed, grown heavy with the things left unsaid. I searched for words that could bridge the gap, a way to reassure her without diminishing myself. But there were none. Every sentence I considered sounded like a compromise, a surrender. And then it hit me. Maybe that was the point. She didn't want compromise. She wanted to be seen fully, fiercely, as her own person, without negotiation, without expectation. Walking out that night, I felt an unexpected freedom mingle with pain. The freedom wasn't the absence of love. It was a recognition that love, when tethered to ownership or expectation, loses its meaning. I had loved her deeply, without hesitation, but I could not unsee the boundaries she had drawn, nor could I claim to possess a heart that had already chosen its own path. Over the following days, I tried to process it. Friends offered advice, some telling me to fight for her, others insisting I should let go. But the truth was, this wasn't about winning or losing or even who was right. It was about understanding the depth of who she was and acknowledging that her declaration wasn't rejection of me. It was an affirmation of herself. The world might see it as defiance, as a challenge, or even as a slight. But in reality, it was a moment of clarity for both of us. Every time I passed her post on my feed, I felt a pang of nostalgia mixed with respect. It was a reminder of the woman I loved and the person she had always been, independent, unyielding, and unapologetically herself. And though it hurt to recognize that our paths might no longer align, there was no bitterness, only understanding. I could no longer fit my expectations onto her life, nor should I have. I learned that love is not possession. It is not the right to dictate another's choices or to define their limits. True love is about seeing the other fully, respecting their boundaries, and sometimes having the courage to walk away when those truths cannot be reconciled. That post, short and striking, had changed the course of my life, not through deceit, not through betrayal, but through honesty. It forced me to confront the reality of who we were and who I was in the presence of someone unwilling to compromise her essence. Now, weeks later, I reflect on it not with regret, but with a quiet reverence. The pain of the moment has softened, replaced with insight and a deeper understanding of autonomy, respect, and the fragile beauty of unbounded love. She remains in memory and in digital presence, the same woman who once filled my days with laughter and my nights with dreams. And I remain newly aware, carrying forward a lesson that will shape every relationship I ever have again. That love is not about holding someone close. It is about seeing them wholly, even when that vision requires letting go